Hi there, my name is Krystal Almora, and I am sharing with you right now. If it's not sustainable, it's not challenge.
And I'm really excited too in the masterclass to dig deeper into some of the things that we're mentioning, especially breaking through this cycle and how we can take tangible action steps today.
It's been insane, and I've not only shed pounds, but I've just shedded all of that. I feel like I've just really come out of my old skin and really like, hey, like I'm here.
This is the True Health Masterclass, and it is all about how to reclaim your health and reclaim your confidence. We are going to break free from the struggle and finally feel good in our skin again. I'm going to give you that roadmap so you know exactly what to do and how to break free from the pain and suffering, right? And just being stuck in where you are. That you're not alone. There's so many ways that we all can relate with one another, but yet we are going through different situations. We all want the same thing, right? To feel good in our skin again, to feel confident, and to feel not just confident in our body, but to know where we're going, right? Like, how do we find that sustainable health where it lasts forever? What does true health mean to you? If you want to write this down, if you have a pen and paper with you, if you have the True Health workbook, let's really think about this question. And I want to see if it changes, kind of like a before and after we get through the slides, what this question means to you. I'm going to give you a couple minutes to do that and write that down, or at least think about it if you don't have a pen and paper. And we have Meagan with us on this call tonight, and I am so excited. She is our guest speaker. And she's going to share so much knowledge and wisdom. And here are some fun facts about her. And first, I just want to say thank you, Meagan, for being here and sharing your story with us.
Thank you for having me, Krystal. I'm so thrilled to be here.
Of course. Yeah, Meagan's going to actually, she's going to share her testimony, which is absolutely incredible. Her before and after transformation, which took about 90 days. She's still continuing on, and she'll get into all that too. But I'm excited for her to have this joint opportunity with me throughout this. So you're going to hear from her, as we go. Just some fun facts. She is a mom of two, an amazing mom of two. She's the wife of a legendary 2-time rowing bronze medalist, 4-time national champion, and 4-time world rowing competitor. She is a highly experienced healthcare professional with over 15 years in the industry, which makes this very unique, and her input on this. She's dedicated to promoting women's empowerment and advocating for health and wellness. So she's known for her vibrant enthusiasm for fitness and her strong commitment to mental well-being. She is a proactive leader with a passion for fostering positive, supportive environments, both in healthcare settings and a wider community. She's been such a light for the True Health community, and how she impacts the other women is just one of a kind. And I always tell her, her light and energy lights up a room, and she just makes you feel so welcomed and good when you're around her. So I'm so honored and happy that she is here, and she's going to be able to share so much with everyone. So yeah, thank you again.
Thank you.
So who am I? Some of you do know who I am. Some of you don't. I am an IIN health coach. So that's an integrative nutrition health coach. I am specialized in gut health. I really love taking a look at that as a starting point, because I do believe that's where all illnesses and issues begin. But Meagan and I share a very similar situation. Both of our husbands are high-performing athletes. My husband is Albert Almora. He won a World Series champion with the Chicago Cubs in 2016. So for all my Cubs fans, I absolutely love and adore you. 2016 was the most wildest year I think we will ever have in our lives. We met right before, so in November of 2015, and then we got pregnant, we got engaged, I went into the whole world of baseball, which I had no idea what I was getting myself into. Then he got called up to the big leagues. We had our first baby, and we made the playoff roster, and then won a World Series. So it was absolutely insane. So as a baseball wife and a mom of 2 young boys, I know how feels just to be in chaos and be overwhelmed. And yeah, I found my passion. It all started when I was a young girl. my passion with food. I love to cook. I would say like even as young as 12 years old, I would cook full meals for my parents and my sister. And it was something I was brought up in an Italian upbringing. So, Sunday pasta and gravy. And then it wasn't until I got to college that I really found so strongly and passionately, and that was the transparency of food. How many of you have watched a food documentary or any documentary that has changed your life? In college, I had to watch The Food Inc., and that for me lifted the veil. It was something in me sparked when I saw that documentary. And it truly did change everything for me. I started food shopping differently. I started eating differently and watching what I was putting in my body. I was asking questions and doing research, and that actually molded me into who I am now as a health coach, being able to do this every single day. So started when I was 19. It's not so common that a 19-year-old is reading food labels and doing those kinds of things. And I had to move in with my dad at the time. And I'll never forget the day he came home, because his doctor told him as he got his annual blood work done, whatever you're doing, keep doing it, because I've never seen your blood work this great before. So his health was directly impacted by the food I was purchasing and cooking, and just the lifestyle and the environment that I created around just that. It felt so good, and I always love to help people. So it was that aha moment for me that, wow, this passion and knowledge that I'm acquiring can really have an impact on other people's lives. But then, I met my husband at the end of 2015, and we became parents. And I'm going to be honest, the baseball world is not a healthy one. Everything I believed in kind of just was thrown out the window. It's the company you keep and the environment you have. Baseball games were super late. There wasn't a lot of access to healthy foods. So it kind of lost my way. And after my first pregnancy too, I was nervous of how my body was going to be. I, didn't know if it was going to bounce back quick. And I will say, I held on to about 20 to 25 pounds, but I knew I wanted another baby. So I wasn't, too crazy about changing my lifestyle. I happened to have 2 miscarriages back to back as I was trying to get pregnant for my second child. And it was devastating. I couldn't help but feel guilty. All these questions naturally ran through my head. Could there have been something I could have done? Was I eating something wrong? Was I doing something wrong? So I was lost, very, very lost. And that in itself sparked that passion back in me to want to nourish myself on a deeper level and get back to the person that I knew was in there, that believed in health and wellness. And luckily, we had a healthy pregnancy, my second baby boy, and something sparked in me. I came up with a game plan. I found my true health through the program that I put myself on through 4 times a week. I would do 20 minutes a day, 4 times a week, the HIIT workouts, and the right macros and whole foods, the portions and the plates that I served myself were all nourishing my body truly from the inside out and outside in. And when I first had the baby, after 6 weeks postpartum, I was cleared to work out. I hit the ground running for 90 days. And in that time frame, I had a wedding for one of the Cubs players right in the middle. And I had ordered a dress, a size 4, thinking that I was still going to fit in that size. And it was devastating that I could not fit in the dress, but I was on this program. I was, even though I didn't see results yet, I stuck with it. And every single day that went by, little by little, by the time, 30, 35 days came, I was able to fit into that dress. And after 90 days, I was down to my pre-pregnancy weight. I had no idea. I wasn't really aiming for a goal, but just to feel good in my skin again. And the fact that happened, and I continued ever since, and it became part of my lifestyle and who I am, becomes second nature. Once you have that experience and see the results and know it works for you, you never go back. So it's been extremely rewarding. And through that journey and experience, I'm able to share that with my clients on how I did that. But also, just recently, for the past 3 years, I would say I've been experiencing my own dysfunction. And that's really what I want to get into. A big topic today on this masterclass is dysfunction. That's like the zoomed out version of so many things that could fall under that. And we're going to go through what that means. For me, it really, there was a few triggers in my life: anxiety, a little bit of depression. My neck area was inflamed. So physically and musculoskeletal issues that I had, and hormonal. hormonal was a big one. So again, very multifaceted and complex when we talk about dysfunction and how it starts in the body. But I want to share it with you because I'm sure as you're hearing this, you yourself are experiencing ways of dysfunction and not seeing that light at the end of the tunnel. Because a lot of times when we go to doctors, there's no answers, right? Where's that hope of knowing what to do and how to get out of that, right? So we want to go towards ease and not disease. So for the past 14 years, this passion of mine that I honed in on, I would say for the past 5 of those 14, I've been really actively coaching hundreds of women to reach their true health and find sustainability in their lifestyle choices that are going to match the goals and the dream come true that they want. So when you start seeing your health journey through a lens of self-respect and self-love, possibility and partnership with your body, sustainable transformation becomes possible. Not through willpower, but through aligned, empowered action. You then say, I want to do this, not I have to, right? We don't want to restrict and feel punished, but I want to take a stand. I want to show up for myself. It feels good to do these things. So this is for women who feel stuck in cycles, right? Of dieting, fatigue, overwhelm, and self-doubt, and are ready to feel like themselves again, right? They're just looking for that answer that's going to get them out of all of those negative things. So if you are tired of an emotional and physical toll of being in constant fatigue, no matter how much you sleep, right? Or having interrupted sleep, right? You're not able to get that quality. Bloating, inflamed, disconnected from your body, cravings, mood swings, trying every quick fix on all those trendy diets out there, the shame spiral of starting over every Monday and just giving up and not recognizing yourself and the way you feel in your body. And this is for women who want a new path, right? They want to wake up energized. They want to have balanced hormones, better digestion, skin, right? Because that all starts within the gut. They want to eat in a way that's good, but not restrictive, clear thinking, reconnecting to their confidence and self-worth, role modeling health for their kids without guilt, and just confidence, right? Mind, body, and soul confidence. They know what they're doing on a day-to-day basis is serving them, and they're nourishing themselves from the inside out and outside in. So I help women get their health and confidence back, and I do this by helping them lose the baby weight, manage anxiety, improve their gut health, so they can feel calm, confident, and be that healthy role model, not only for themselves, but the ones they love around them. And I absolutely love the school I went to because I've learned from the best medical and healthcare professionals like Dr. Mark Hyman, Dr. Andrew Weil, Frank Lipman, Dr. Deepak Chopra, and Dr. Amen is a very renowned brain specialist, right, in psychology. So the Food Babe is awesome. If you don't know her, it's Vani Hari. She's an activist in the food world and really trying to hone in on those companies that are just absolutely poisoning us and our children with these crazy ingredients. So there's lots to get into, and we're going to kind of touch on all these different topics that cover holistic wellness. And what that is, this might be foreign for you, or it might be something you're seeing a lot of lately, but holistic just means the whole picture, right? We cannot just focus on how much we're exercising and what we're putting in our body. We need to see what the full picture is when it comes to our health, starting from within. So 3 approaches that we use is root cause, pretty self-explanatory. You want to get to the root. You want to keep asking why and dig deeper. Bioindividuality is very important because this just means not everyone's the same, right? There's no one size fits all. So what's good for one person might not be the best for the other. So we really have to take a look at what's unique for you. And that interconnectedness is very important as well because everything we do and experience is connected. So for instance, you could eat all the kale and broccoli in the world, but if you're not nourishing yourself in those other areas, you're going to feel terrible. So a simple example is, if you're overworked and you're stressed or you hate your boss, then you come home and you're tired and you have headaches and all these different symptoms that you're feeling. If you don't fix those things or change your environment, or at least the mindset, right? Like what the intention we come from and how we talk to ourselves, all those things play a part in how we're going to feel. So getting yourself on a good ripple effect is really what I mean by that. Like, what are the decisions you're making every day from the mind, body, and soul that are going to allow those good things for you to experience those good things. So if you're on a bad ripple effect, you're going to keep experiencing that. And if you're on a good one, things are going to fall into place. So I have a little clip to share with you. It's about 2 minutes.
It's not just that disease starts in the mind. It's that everything starts in the mind.
In today's world, these stresses are 24/7, 365. The net result is illness and disease.
90% what takes people to the doctor is stress-related illnesses.
When you perceive a threat, in the old days, we referred to that as fight or flight.
But now it's your spouse, or it's your boss, or it's rent that's due in a week. And yet the system reacts as a sort of life-threatening situation.
And if you're running a fight or flight response all the time, your immune system is compromised chronically.
We have the most money going into healthcare than any country in the world, and we have some of the worst statistics of healthcare.
Doctors and insurance companies give a drug, which then has a side effect, more toxicity, more ill health.
My body wants to be healthy, but it's the head that it's the fear.
I don't know who I am without being sick.
In a way, we have more faith in the power of cancer to kill us than we have faith in the power of infinite possibility.
Every organ in the human body has the ability to heal itself under the right conditions of it. What are those conditions? That's the question.
We are in a mindset that our body is a machine full of organs with buttons and levers that need adjusting.
Psoriasis and eczema, cause unknown. Multiple sclerosis, cause unknown. Fibromyalgia, cause unknown.
There have been radical remission for every single cancer type: pancreatic cancer, stage 4 lung cancer, a big brain tumor that's considered inoperable. There are examples of people out there who have healed from it. When I looked at the data, they were all using these 9. Only 2 of them are physical. The rest are mental, emotional, and spiritual.
Does this mean medicine is all negative? I go, absolutely not. Medicine does miracles with trauma.
If you have a chronic illness, believe the diagnosis, but don't believe the prognosis.
What we see here is belief itself shifts biology, that intelligence giving us life. It is the greatest healer in the world.
Symptoms are brilliantly intelligent in waking us up.
Doesn't matter how long you've been sick, you can heal, and always remember that and never forget it.
Is it familiar? Like, is this, when you hear these things, is it something you've heard before, you believe, or is it just kind of foreign? Like, because you're in the healthcare.
Well, I think that little clip was very riveting, because there's so much about disease in general that can be preventable. And I think that most people, maybe we know that, but we don't truly live that. And so we make a lot of poor choices when we're young. Even when you get to midlife, you're still making poor choices because you think, oh, like, it's not going to happen yet. Like, I'm not old yet. And then by the time it catches up to you, it's kind of like too late.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I know when I was younger, it was foreign to me. Like, there's this time that I vividly remember. I was, I don't know, like 10. I was a very young girl, and I believe my grandfather just passed away, and he had colon cancer. And I just remember thinking, like, because I was always nervous, my mom was going to get sick or something was going to happen to my mom. I was very, very attached to her. And I just remember saying, like, I wonder what cancer she's going to get, or, what illness she's going to have. And then even myself, like, I wonder what's in my future, and I just remember feeling like it was inevitable. It was going to happen, right? Because everyone around me was overweight or got overweight as they got older. And, some illness came out, and whatever, was going to happen was going to happen. And later on is when I found out, especially becoming a certified integrative nutrition health coach, they've put the power back in me, right? And I realized everyone needs to know this, because why not? If we're solely relying on other people or something else, right? We're always trying to outsource, like, oh, I have to find what's going to help me. I have to find this. When really the answer is just looking within, right? Like, you literally just have to look inward. You're the headquarters to your body and your health. You know it more than anyone in this world. And that intuition and that innate ability to heal is really what we forget. And it's okay to go to doctors still and partner with them and communicate with them and find answers. No one's saying to avoid that or don't go that route anymore. But I do truly believe a lot of us have lost that part of who we are to be the health advocate that we're supposed to be. And I know Meagan has a great perspective on this, let's say, being in the job that she's in and all of that. So we'll get to that in a second. Let me go back to the slides. So we've been taught to fix symptoms, not root causes, to push harder, not rest. And your healing begins when you shift from control to cooperation with yourself, right? Really listening to your body. And again, this is something I learned so much in the past 3 years. I was forced to. And having the foundation I had really, really helped with that. So the problem for sure, like the big elephant in the room at some point in everyone's life is dysfunction. This word is a big topic on this specific masterclass that I want to shine a light on, because the definition, if you look it up, is an abnormality or an impairment in the function of a specific bodily organ or system. And when we take a look at where it comes from, right, the root begins all stages of life, right? Or the beginning stages of life for sure. The moment we pop out of our mom's belly, it's like, okay, what kind of environment are we in? What are our parents like? What are they feeding us? What access do they have to, just the quality of food, and what knowledge do we even have? This has been a new age thing of where people are being more open to the idea that there is things in their food that aren't good for them, right? Like that back then, I'd never heard anyone say that. As I, was growing up, I didn't hear anyone say, oh, you have to read a food label or make sure, there's not high fructose corn syrup in a package. So it is a whole different world than when we were brought up. I love when people say too, like, I ate that stuff, it's fine. But when you compare labels from decades ago until now, it's not the same. So we unfortunately, we have to face reality and say, okay, how can we navigate this and be savvy consumers? But these are the things that really rooted us in this dysfunction without even knowing, So you have social factors, education or lack of, relationships, environmental factors, poverty, food environment, as I mentioned, emotional and psychological factors. So trauma, abuse, stress, those things get bottled up in us, especially at a young age. And if we don't know how to embrace, or not embrace, but heal that in a way that's going to allow us to not hold it against ourselves, right? We don't want to use it in a negative way as we get older. We want to be able to hone in and find a healthy relationship with what we experience in life, because at the end of the day, it's part of our journey. And that is the only way to not allow it to become part of your dysfunction. And then, of course, biological and lifestyle factors. So genetics, there's not too much about genetics in this specific presentation, but what we do on a day-to-day basis has the power to turn on or off genes. So yes, you're born with genes, right? You're given what you're given. It's like a deck of cards. But what you eat and what you surround yourself in your environment and what you do does influence them. Of course, we then carry that with us as adults, and it could change. It could look different. Could it be through our poor nutrition, always eating fast food and processed foods, stress in many different ways, gut health issues, hormones, imbalanced, toxins, just sitting around a lot. That's a big one, especially now that COVID hit. A lot of jobs are at home. So all these things, poor sleep, trauma that happens recently, or trauma from a child when you were a child, inflammation, dehydration, poor recovery, and mindset. So all these things are triggers of dysfunction. So I want you to ask yourself right now, what triggers do you know that are causing dysfunction in your life or could be causing it, right? And it's, again, multiple answers. It's not just one. We really have to think about what your imbalances are. You can write them down, and then how we're going to navigate through that and take baby steps towards creating balance in your life. And then what they manifest into are symptoms. Usually some typical red flags are the everyday fatigue, of course, weight gain, your inability to lose weight, digestive issues, which is where it all starts, right? IBS, leaky gut, bloating, constipation, diarrhea, brain fog, mood swings, anxiety, poor sleep. The list goes on, as you could see. All of these things are part of the dysfunction that has created over decades. It takes a very long time to be sick and see the red flags. Not for everyone, right? There's kids out there that are suffering, unfortunately, and they see it a lot quicker. But most people, it takes into, their 30s, 40s, or 50s to see that dysfunction. You can see here, this is a laundry list of things, but these symptoms are the signals the body sends showing that something deeper needs attention. The deeper truth is your body's not broken. It's responding to overwhelm, hormonal chaos, inflammation, and emotional depletion. You go to a doctor, you spend 5 to 10, maybe 15 minutes in a doctor's office speaking with a doctor. 9 times out of 10, they're going to prescribe you a pill. They're going to say, take X, Y, and Z. This is going to help with that. There's pretty much something for every single symptom you could think of. I know people in my own life, I'm sure, how many of you know people that go down that rabbit hole of medication after medication, and they never get to the root cause of what's really causing the dysfunction in the first place. And the sad part is most people get stuck in this rabbit hole. How many people know of someone that went down this rabbit hole or in the rabbit hole, or yourself has been through this rabbit hole? Pill after pill after pill, unknown causes, no answers, and still left in pain and suffering. Unfortunately, it happens way too much. Endless testing, Band-Aid approach, masking the problem, fragmented care, temporary relief, and frustration. So, Meagan, I would love for you to share your, perspective on self-advocacy, what that means to you, and what you've seen in your own career and, occupation when it comes to this topic.
Self-advocacy is extremely, extremely vital. I've been in healthcare for almost 20 years. And I've seen some things and I've read some things, and I know friends and family who have gone through things, and, we always kind of doubt ourselves. We feel a certain way, certain dysfunction going on in our body. And, like for me as a mom, it's always like, well, I'll deal with it later because we've got the world on our shoulders, and, we're busy advocating for our children, like everything going on with them. And then if something goes wrong with my husband or, my parents, and then it's like, God forbid something happens to me. It's like, well, I don't have time to deal with that. That's just kind of like everybody's kind of instant gut reaction. When your body is already screaming at you for something and it's already telling you hey, something is wrong. And we have to take the way we're such fighters for our kids, and we're such fighters for our parents, and we're such fighters for our partners, but we have to apply that same methodology to ourselves. And, we trust these doctors because they're brilliant, sure, but they're human just like anyone else. And they are extremely flooded right now at the hospitals, and which then makes all these practitioners extremely overworked. So if something isn't so clear cut to them, they don't know what to do, and they're just going to send you home or try and pass the buck onto somebody else. So if you were to go to the hospital and you tell them something's wrong, and they just say, okay, we'll go home or whatever, take an Advil, feel better. And you are adamant that no, that's not going to solve your problem. You have to speak up for yourself. If you think a test or a surgery that somebody's suggesting, maybe if something feels off, speak on it, ask the questions, go get second opinions. I know several people, unfortunately, who have had lumps found and, or random things with their skin going on, and doctors were like, oh, everything looks fine. And then they decide for whatever reason to go pull up their reports, and it wasn't benign after all, and it ended up being cancer. And I've had my own situations too, where, my appendix ended up bursting after my second child, and doctors were like, you know what, you're fine. Maybe you pulled a muscle, relax, talk to us in the morning. And after, a bit of time, I just listened to myself, and I was like, no, something is actually really wrong. And I was rushed to 2 different hospitals. I was really on the borderline of becoming septic, and it was not a good situation, especially being postpartum. And, it feels like you're making someone else uncomfortable by pushing for yourself, but it's like at the end of the day, who cares? Like, because you matter, like your health matters, your family, everything around you in your world, like it operates and it's thriving because of you. So if you go down, then everything else is going to go down eventually too. So you always have to take care of yourself first, for sure.
That's so spot on, especially the part where, you know, you have to listen to your own body and be your own doctor. And that's like life or death situations, right? Where like you're friends with the lump. If they didn't get a second opinion or dig deeper, would they have found actually that it was cancer, you know? So it's pretty scary. Yeah, this is wonderful. Obviously, this is Meagan's transformation, which we'll get into more towards the end as well when we see the testimonials.
Yeah, I mean, just like this picture shows, I was trying to do everything that I could. When I first started this program, I was experiencing a lot of like perimenopause symptoms. So I had like the hot flashes at night. I had the weight gain in places that I never looked like this. I had random headaches. I had the joint pains. Like I had everything pretty much under the sun. And so the thing that pushed me to like go to the doctors was obviously the weight gain, because who's got time for that? Like I don't. And, you know, I go to the doctors and she was basically like, yeah, okay, so what do you think this is? And I'm like, I get this so often. And I was like, well, I think it's perimenopause. She was like, yeah, you're probably right. And I was like, okay, so what do I do? Because I'm a very active person and I'm working out 5 times a week and, you know, I'm doing all the things that I know should have worked in the past for me and it's not working now. And she literally just printed out something from her computer. And it was just basically like, eat your vegetables, work out. Like, and she just handed me the paper and was like, good luck. And I was like, no, like there's gotta be something else. Like, I was like, I am not going down like this. Like, absolutely not. So I chose to get extreme. So that meant like lowering eating. I think at that point I was eating twice a day. So then I was like, okay, I'm going to eat once a day. And because in my mind, it's like food's the enemy. And I kicked up the workouts and I was working out twice a day, sometimes at like 3 o'clock in the morning. Like I would naturally be waking up because of a hot flash. And I'd be like, you know what? Like, screw it. Like, I'm just going to go down in the gym, get a workout in. Like, it was crazy. I was so exhausted and I was so fatigued beyond what like pregnancy fatigue is. Like I was just simply so exhausted just waking up in the morning and like living life. And I was like, who can live like this? Like this is just not right. So then that obviously, you know, eating once a day and working out as extremely as I was, and like the scale is barely moving, I knew, okay, like this is not working. So then I started to do more research and it was telling me like, you need to eat more. But then with that, no one taught me how to eat growing up. So I don't know, I don't understand portion controls. I don't know what that stuff means. So I would try and eat more, but the portions were just not right. So that led to like more weight gain and it was just very frustrating. So finally, Krystal, you had posted on one of my like low days about like this new app that was coming out and everything. And I just thought, you know what, like, why don't I just take a risk? Because I've got nothing else to lose and the doctors aren't helping me. Like nobody else has the answers. I am the most physically fit person that like is like around like in like my circle at that time. So I was like, nobody's helping me. And so like, I don't know what else to do. So I started with you and that's when everything, you know, really started to take off.
So amazing, not amazing what you had to go through though to get there, right? Like going to a doctor, again, you feel like they're going to give you some kind of hope or answer or help or anything. And then when you just receive paper.
When she printed out the paper, I was like, websites have more in-depth information than what she had printed out for me. And I was just like, you understand who you're giving this to. Like, she knows how fit I am. Like, I'm like, I work out all the time. Don't tell me to eat healthy and work out. Like, am I doing that? Like what's going on?
Yeah. Oh, so frustrating. But luckily, following your gut and not giving up and wanting to find an answer led you here. And your transformation has been absolutely incredible. Not just physically, like internally, everything that you've experienced so far and have told me that you've experienced is what this is about, what true health is about, right? It's the approach, having the right approach and the tools that you need to be supported in reaching your goals. And it doesn't have to be, again, one size fits all or a certain way. It's really catered to who you are as a person and what you're looking for. And I'm so happy that that has been your experience now. You see the light at the end of the tunnel. You know what sustainability looks like. You know how to nourish yourself. And, I don't want to speak for you, but I know that it feels good and it's almost addicting. It's like, okay, I want this
It is.
to continue and I'm going to choose to continue that because
Yeah, the motivation propels you. It just catapults you faster than anything else.
I love that. So the question is that you have to think about is what is the cost of your inaction? If you don't do anything and you just stay the same, what can those risks look like? If something doesn't shift, if something doesn't happen for you to get out of the situation you're in, how is that going to continue down that negative ripple effect or that path that's going to lead towards more suffering, time and money wasted, and not living your best life? So the conflict, this is why so many people say they feel broken or like a number in the medical system, right? Because the focus is on managing illness, not creating true health. So you've tried the diets, you've tried the workouts, you've counted, you've tracked, you've restricted and pushed through, but deep down, there's something more to the story, right? So those missing pieces to your puzzle. This terrible statistic, 9 out of 10 women or 90% of women gain the weight back. So here's a little demonstration of different mindsets that we all have been in, especially when we're younger. The first one, we neglect ourselves. We just eat whatever we want. We're kind of not asking questions, drinking whatever we want. And unfortunately, that's what leads to the dysfunction over time until eventually a red flag happens or something wakes you up to say enough is enough. The second one is usually then the next trap. We're like, okay, we have to do something about this. What is that going to look like? And a lot of noise out there, a lot of things saying, oh, you need this, you need that. And then you become restrictive and dependent and trying these quick fixes and yo-yo dieting and all these things that are not going to lead to sustainability as well. So it's very inconsistent. You could see weight loss, right? Some people lose 20, 30 pounds on, different things, but what is going to keep it consistent and going, right? So that last one is really where you want to be. You want to be on a path that's sustainable and going to continue to rise up towards those things you want and the health that you want. So why the old way doesn't work? Because you're lacking the root cause approach. You're just masking things with a Band-Aid and not asking the right questions. Lacking sustainability. The path you're on does not equal longevity. You're lacking bio-individuality, knowing really what's truly going to work for you and be the best for your body and your unique needs. And then the reasons why you're still stuck are you're not prioritizing your health. You might think you are or trying to be, but unfortunately, the symptoms show elsewise, right? So you're bloated, you're emotionally drained, still trying to hold it all together, and those things aren't aligned to really nourish yourself from the inside out. And then lacking the support. A lot of times we need the right support. We need a little bit of push so you can become your own expert and do this on your own. And you might be missing the bigger picture. You might think, okay, diet, exercise, these things are part of it, but not the whole picture, right? Those other important factors are really going to what is going to make or break your situation. So a couple photos aren't coming up, but this slide is all about the True Health community. And I would love to hear from Meagan and her experience with this as well, being in the community and knowing how good it feels just to have other women, like-minded women on a similar journey to share the experience with.
This community is so impactful. Exactly what you said, like-minded women surrounding us. Part of the journey, a lot of it has to do with surrounding yourself with the right kind of people. And you want people that are lifting you up and encouraging you. And they don't have to necessarily have the same goal as you, but they're just with you, like they get you and they want to see you do well. And that's exactly what the community that you've built is. You know, these women, they come from all over the country, all stages of life. You know, we hold each other accountable. We remind each other, show up for yourself. We encourage each other. We share recipes. We share our wins of the week. We share our challenges sometimes. It's like one big like sisterhood, and it's so easy to just be like vulnerable if you want. Like, you don't have to be, but our bi-monthly calls are so impactful. Like, especially if you're having like a low week, everybody always says, like, they jump on the call and then they're like, oh my God, I feel so much better. So it's just nice to be around other women that get it. Some people are, you know, doing these plans because, you know, they just started to become pregnant or they were trying to get pregnant, and stage of life, you know, they are on track in doing what's best for their baby. Then you have women like me that are kind of like in perimenopause and everything's hitting the fan and it's just like kind of crazy. Or you have people that are actually in menopause and going through like the interrupted sleep and the hormonal dysfunction, like full blown blast. And so we also have like different goals too. So not everyone is going to sit there and count macros like I personally am, but you don't have to. Like, some people just want to sign up and they just want to clean out the pantry. They just want to learn. Like, you hear about check these ingredients, check these ingredients, but you know, there's so much out there, it's overwhelming. And so this community really helps like take away all that pressure, and you just feel like you've got a leg up on the situation.
Yeah, it's so much fun too. You know, every group call is very exciting to see where everyone's at, what we got going on, and what results and progress has been so far. And you know, when someone's like, I lost another 2 pounds, we're all excited and we're cheering each other on. So yeah, I think it's just so cool to get to do that. So when women come together in a supportive way, motivation multiplies and results accelerate, because accountability, encouragement, and shared wins create a kind of momentum that's impossible to find without it. How cool is that, right? So just having that, which isn't always easy to find.
Yeah.
We're all on the same journey. We all want the same things, but it's all unique and beautiful at the same time. And again, everyone's light. Meagan, your light, what you bring to this has just been so amazing and impactful and happy. Like, it's just, you know, we all get to share a safe space to be who we are and to become better each and every day and healthier. So yeah, thank you for sharing that. So the solution is in you. You just need to find the right environment to adapt, heal, and thrive. So we're going to get into what the 5-step system to reclaim your health and confidence is. This is part of the journey to look at these pillars, if you will, to shift your mindset, to eat well and eat real, to move with joy, to reset your rhythm and sustain from within. And again, the beauty is all of these will look different for each person because it's your unique journey. It can never be the same person to person. So step 1 is to think well. We have to change our mind in order to change our life. New mindset equals new results. So when you embrace change, that's what happens. So step 1 is where women begin to shift their mindset. You can't create a new outcome with an old mindset. So to create change that lasts, you have to become that version of you that believes it's possible and worth it. So a couple analogies here. The onion analogy kind of goes back to the dysfunction. When we're born, we have all these layers that get molded into us from the time we're born all the way up until now, and so on. So when we mold these layers, they're not always good for us. They're not always serving us. And we really have to take a look and say, okay, what layers do we need to peel back? And let's work on, you know, building those new layers to create a new mold in who we are. Albert Einstein, if you keep doing the same thing and expect a different result, that's the definition of insanity. And then don't cheat your health. Meagan, you want to share your input on what that means to you?
Yeah, I mean, you got to invest in yourself. Because if you cut corners, like, that's how we end up in this yo-yo effect, right? If you go for the diets that restrict your body, and that's like something that I've learned through you, is like, food is not the enemy. Like, we're born to nourish our bodies. It's just about the strategy behind it. And that's something you teach. And once you understand that strategy, then you're able to realize like you can eat everything still. Like you can still have carbs, you can still have fats, like healthy fats. Like, are you eating McDonald's? No, hopefully not. But there is that 80-20 rule. So if people want that to be their 20%, sure, I guess. Yeah. To each their own. Mine would be Dunkin' Donuts personally. But the more you stay on track, the more your body is going to feel better, the more you're going to just feel lighter. Like everything in your world starts to just improve. But I truly wake up every morning and I'm so excited. Well, I mean, you make my meal plans for me, so I know exactly what I'm going to eat the next day, but it's like, that takes out like one less thing I have to think about, and it makes me excited. And I'm just happy to eat all day long, which I never would do. So it's quite the mindset change.
Yeah. A few things here. Mindset drives habits. Like we said, actions begin with thoughts. Old beliefs keep you stuck. So if you don't change, you're just going to be challenging negative beliefs. And when you challenge negative beliefs, it allows for empowering truths and promotes action. And then identity over willpower. So lasting change comes from seeing yourself as someone who prioritizes health. It's all about how you see yourself and that the way you're showing up mentally and responding to setbacks. So a healthy mindset will transform setbacks into feedback, fostering that resilience. And setbacks and failure is part of life. It's how you get back up that actually matters, is going to allow you to get to where you want to be. Relationship with your body. So the way you view your body as a partner, promoting love, consistent support rather than punishment. So here are some examples. We don't have to read all of these, but just to show you how to make this shift and to start practicing it. So, for example, an old way to talk to yourself is, I messed up, so I may as well quit. A new way is to say, progress over perfection. One day off doesn't erase all of my growth. Another example is, what can I cut out? Versus saying, what can I add that fuels my body and supports my energy, right? So not focus on the negative where you have to restrict, but how am I going to fuel myself? And then also, how fast can I lose weight versus what habits can I practice today that move me forward in life, right? So it's not about the time. It's about taking a small step, building on that. I'm only successful if I see the number drop. Whereas a healthy mindset would say, my energy, my confidence, my strength, and mood are my new success markers, right? There's other benefits that you're going to get by feeding and nourishing yourself on those other areas. Which one of these do you feel really resonates with you?
The one about the timing. So like, how fast can I lose my weight? Because you have to understand that you didn't gain that weight overnight. So it's going to take you a little bit to get rid of it, and patience is really a virtue there. It's not going to take you like years to get rid of, 10 pounds. Like, no, of course not. But it's a process, and it's going to take you, like, I always say, like, it's going to take you 6 weeks to notice it. And then it's going to take 8 weeks for those close to you to notice it. And then 12 weeks for the rest of the world. So I always kind of give like a 90-day challenge to myself. And I say, okay, if I got to commit to this for 90 days, and if I don't like what I'm seeing after 90 days, then okay, we're going to pivot. We're going to do something different. But chances are after those 90 days, you're going to feel empowered to keep moving, to keep it up, and to keep going. And that is what this is all about.
Think about it. If it takes decades, right, to get to where you are, inflamed with a chronic issue and unhealthy, it takes 90 days to transform yourself to a point where you're not going back. Like, that this is forever. So yeah, it's very eye-opening. And I would say that's the upside, right? Is our body is able to adapt and heal so quickly once we do find that right path for ourselves. So the problem women have is, they get stuck in this all or nothing thinking, that negative self-talk, as we mentioned, the quick fix mentality, or your dieting cycle, fear of failure, emotional eating. That's a big one. Feeling powerless, lack of consistency, and disconnected from body signals. And then of course the shame spiraling, feeling like you're hopeless, like it's not going to work anyway. And, you just continue in a negative pattern. The truth is, most women want change, but life, mindset, and lack of clarity will keep them stuck. So you must reprogram your story. So here are 2 questions to think about. How would your life look if you believed you could succeed without extreme diets or punishments? And what's one thought you can replace with a more empowering one today? Step 2 is all about how to eat well and nourish your mind, body, and gut. Step 2 is where women learn how to nourish their body with appropriate choices so they can not only reach their goals, but find their forever diet that fits into their lifestyle, becomes second nature, and is enjoyable. So as we mentioned, the bio-individuality, the reading the food labels, the eating with purpose. Our food system is what it is, right? So we have to become savvy consumers. We have to know how to read those food labels and navigate the healthier options so we do not fall into those traps of sabotage and, just adding fuel to the fire. Every bite is information your body takes on. So here are some tips. You can fill half your plate with veggies and salads and salad greens. You can include protein sources at every meal. Choose healthy fats like avocado, olive oil, and nuts. Minimize added sugars and refined carbs. But your forever diet and eating in a way that's going to nourish yourself is going to improve your gut health, have better sleep, have better energy to support many different functions of the body, like your brain, your skin health, support your metabolism, and reduce that inflammation. So you're setting yourself up for the long haul. 80 to 90% is what you put into your body. So we must learn how to create your healthy convenience. That consistency will build confidence. It's not convenient to be cooking all the time or eating healthy all the time. So we have to fit into that into your routine and really take a look at that to, adjust and make those necessary choices so it works for you. And you cannot forget the hormone and gut health connection, because what we directly put into our body does have a big effect on that. 90% of serotonin lies in the gut. Your hormones and everything you're eating is either going to support it or cause more dysfunction. So you can't balance your hormones without healing your gut, because your gut is where your hormone regulation begins. From detoxifying excess estrogen to producing feel-good neurotransmitters like serotonin, your gut microbiome plays a direct role in your mood, metabolism, cravings, and cycle health. So if your gut is inflamed or imbalanced, your hormones will stay stuck no matter how clean you eat or how hard you work out. You really have to go down to the root. So here are some little snippets. The other 2 aren't popping up, but they're pretty all related to this topic. Women don't fail because they're weak. They fail because the food system's broken, confusing, and unsustainable. The biggest cause of aging is something most doctors don't know how to diagnose or treat. It's also nearly 100% reversible. It's called insulin resistance. And it is the root of heart disease, diabetes, cancer, dementia. The biggest, the most common chronic health diseases stems right from what we put into our body. So it goes back to how we reverse this. How do we combat these issues that we're facing? The inflammation, all these root things are in every choice we make of what goes into our body. So very, very large percentage has to do with those food choices. So it's very important step in the 5-step system that we get that under control and working for you in your favor that feels good and is doable, right? Without restriction or without ever dieting again, right? You want to find the forever diet. The problem women have, they're confused, they're overwhelmed, the all or nothing mindset, right? Lack of preparation, skipping meals. They don't really have the skills in the kitchen or know how to make life easier, right? That convenience part. They're just misinformed about healthy foods and what macros are. And, I know Meagan, we talk about this all the time, how she felt, or before she started the True Health program, she had a different perspective about food and the relationship and how she was feeding herself. And the concept of eating more and nourishing more was frightening for her at first, right? But then she realized once you apply the right nutrients and apply the right meals and portions and what a healthy balance is, there's nothing to be scared of, because she saw what her body did. She felt what her body was doing, and those pieces connected.
I think the biggest mind-blowing fact of it is that I eat all day long and that I've lost so much weight. And I'm still is this really going to keep going? When's it gonna, when am I going to gain the weight back? But it's strategy. You have to eat the specifically, the right kinds of food, the protein, the fat, and the carbs. So It's like throw away the mindset of like no carbs. Like I was never a person to jump on that because I love carbs. So I love my bread. So I would never in a million years do a no carb diet, but it's like still like you have to understand like how much, and everybody's different, right? Based on your height and based on your weight, like and how much you work out, like everybody's kind of like logistics are a little bit different. So your calorie deficit is going to differ from person to person. What does that all look like? And if you just go in blind, then yeah, you're not going to get the results you want because you're not doing it strategically. Like you're literally blindfolding yourself, going into a room and hoping for the best. And like, not even Helen Keller could do that. Like,
Yeah, it's true. Just understanding the bits and pieces and the details. You know, you create the life that you want. But again, if you want to live peacefully with ease, not disease, and a quality of life as you get older so you can enjoy the things you love, we must break that cycle of dysfunction. Here's a question. What small change can you make this week to improve your nutrition? Think small, that low-hanging fruit, tangible action step.
and I love how you talk about like low hanging fruit because it could be simple. So it's like my suggestion to like always to my friends is like, you can start with like your coffee creamer, right? 90% of the time what people put into their coffee will be, you know, those really like high in sugar, like cinnamon roll flavored. Or another big one that I just feel like really works is we live in a world of convenience, right? So everybody's ordering takeout and they're door dashing this, that, and everything else, Uber Eats, like you name it. It's so convenient. But it's like, try to replace one of those days with like a food delivery where like you cook the meal. So just go to the grocery store that night and pick out a green, pick out a protein, pick out a carb, and your body is going to feel so good.
And avoiding old habits of being like, oh, let's just
Yeah.
order out. Let's eat, you know, something that you know is just going to be loaded with those inflammatory oils and the sodium and those other ingredients. You're, like you said, you're going to feel so much better, and it's just going to nourish yourself in a way that the more you do it, the more it's going to become second nature. So that is for sure where we say to start, because it's the easiest. It's the most next thing, like that next step that makes the most sense, because you don't have to bite off more than you can chew. You don't have to do it all, or have to have a perfect pantry, or have to know what your macros are. Absolutely not. Like literally the small step that you could take is the right step, and that's the beauty in it.
People could also like add in things too. This protein intake, I mean, it's all the rage right now, but it's so important for bone health and just life in general. So it's like maybe just add a protein shake to your day. So you step away from that restricting yourself and you're adding the good in.
So yeah, step 3 is all about moving well. Enjoy your movement. When you move with joy, you doesn't feel like a chore, right? Or a punishment. It feels good. Women find what movement brings them joy. Natural movement and joyful movement is one of the most powerful, underrated keys to lasting weight loss, overall health, and longevity, especially for women who've felt stuck in cycles of rigid fitness or burnout. Who said you have to go to the gym to lose weight? Always a way that you can move and get your exercise in beyond having to have a gym subscription or certain equipment. Like it's not restrictive or limited either, right? Just like when we talk about our diet, there's many different ways that you could fill this part of your health in moving more. Today's day, we have a lot of stay-at-home jobs where people are sitting around a lot more. So there's even ways to get creative with that. And, you know, whether it be setting an alarm, making sure you're moving every hour for 15 minutes or whatever it may be, there's always ways that you could challenge yourself and also take action, right? Even look at your low-hanging fruit in this category and see, can you take the stairs instead of the elevator every day? Like, what does your situation look like that you could just start baby steps to getting more steps in, going for a walk?
You know what I was just recommending to one of my friends the other day, because they were saying they're like a family of 4 and both of them, the husband and wife, like they like just never get time to themselves and stuff, and they've gained weight and everything. And I told them, I said, why don't you start with like a family walk every Saturday night? Like, cause that's what we do. And I'm like, take the kids out, go for a walk, let them play on the playground, even if it's like for 20 minutes, and just go try to do that. Or, you know, if you don't have a family, or, you know, maybe you just like don't want to do anything with them, like you want like your alone time, put on a podcast and go walk around the neighborhood. You know what I mean? And just get your body active, and it will start to pick up and you'll start to develop a habit. But just start small, because if you start too big and you just jump into 5 days a week and doing all this lifting and all this stuff, like if you're not used to it, you'll burn out.
100%. Yeah. And even if you have a dog, like that's an excuse. Take your dog for a walk, but absolutely
Yeah.
is the way to go. And it takes a lot of the pressure off and that stereotype or stigma around like, oh, I have to go to the gym 4 times a week. And then even people who do manage to do that, and then they don't see the results. That is just heartbreaking when I hear people busting their butt however many times a week, all these hours, and they're not seeing it, right? Because most of the time a big lack of nutrition is there, and they're not, hitting that mark, which is 80 to 90% of that. The exercising component helps to kickstart metabolism and complement weight loss, especially in the beginning when we're in a calorie deficit. You have to move your body, and it kind of all works in combination together. But hearing that you don't have to, do this heavy exercise routine or burn yourself out, I hope makes everyone feel a lot, lighter just by hearing that. And you could truly start small and have a huge impact. These mindset blocks around movement are just as limiting as food struggles, and they keep women from finding a healthy, joyful relationship with exercise. So the result, women work harder, but not smarter. They get frustrated and believe exercise doesn't work for them, when in reality, they just need the right approach. And of course, that nutrition, enjoyment, and moving more. So sustainability aspect, enjoyable movement leads to better consistency rather than forced workouts. Stress reduction, joyful activities help lower the cortisol, aiding in the fat loss. Metabolic flexibility, so natural daily movements boost NEAT, which is burning more calories than one intense workout. It supports longevity and joint health, so low impact movement maintains body function, prevents injury, improves circulation, and supports bone and muscle health with age. It also rewires your relationship with exercise, right? So it encourages that positive mindset towards moving more, shifting away from the punishment perspective. And then boost mental and emotional health. So joyful movement enhances mood, reduces anxiety, and promotes mental resilience through endorphin and dopamine release, fostering lasting change. So the 2 most important ways to move are walking and strength training, right? But if we just start with the walking, look at these statistics here. Look at these facts that it does for longevity, mobility, fall prevention, metabolism, and mental and cognitive benefits. It's incredible. So 35 to 45% lower mortality rate, lower risk of chronic disease. It improves heart health, endurance, brain function, aids in stability and joint health. And again, just overall longevity, right? It's going to support your mood, your sleep, your focus. You're just going to feel so much better when you get out, especially in nature, and just walk. But of course, the strength training is the backbone of that longevity piece and helping kind of reverse aging. Just setting yourself up to slow that down as you age is super important, especially to decrease your chances of osteoporosis and other illnesses that increase as we age. So the problem women have are they see exercise as punishment. They lack the support and the accountability, which is huge. The accountability with exercising, and that's where the community really comes in and helps hold people accountable. Lack of energy, or nothing mindset, inconsistency. They're bored, right? Like if they're not motivated and enjoying it, then it's a disaster. Believing more is better. So those people that are just exercising way too much and also missing other things, and then the guilt and the shame cycle too of not seeing the results. So let's find a type of movement that brings you joy and think about how you could add that into your weekly routine. Move to complement your health. Find that purpose in your movement. Quick movement ideas, as we mentioned, could be morning walks with a podcast or uplifting music, dance in your living room, yoga or stretch, short resistance band workouts at home. Start small and build. Step 4 is to be well, rest, recover, and reset your rhythm. So when you find your balance, this is where our hormones align, losing weight and keeping it off, and true energy is going to happen during rest and recovery, not when you're working out, right? When you're working out, you're adding more inflammation and your body's working. So that rest is what's going to help things happen on the back end, like your reboot system of getting the energy you need for the next day and allowing your cells to heal and all of that hard work that you did. Not getting enough sleep, then you're going to compromise all those things, right? So you're not going to be able to recharge and recover, and it's just going to kind of continue to go against you. So learning how to start your day to set up a healthy tone for your nervous system, your metabolism, and mindset is really important. So women usually wake up in fight or flight, right? We get right on our phone. We have terrible habits. We might not be eating a good breakfast. We're skipping meals. And then before the day even begins. So a grounded morning routine isn't just about discipline. It's about rewiring your body for peace, energy, and clarity. Most people don't know where to start or how to make it stick. So think of recovery as that secret ingredient that makes exercise, nutrition, and mindset shifts actually long-term. Without it, even the healthy habits like exercising and eating well will not stick because the body isn't given the chance to heal and thrive. So it's that backbone to all of these things that we do during the day. We need that sleep to reset us and allow us to build. So self-care truly equals stress management. Stress is a huge one on all of this. It's not going anywhere. It's something that's continuously in our lives. So chronic stress, if we stay in that state, we don't know how to get out of it and manage it, it's going to keep your body in fight or flight. So it's going to increase the cortisol. It's going to increase the inflammation, disrupt your hormones. Long-term, this is going to add belly fat, anxiety, sleep issues, and weaken immunity. So it's really important we get a hold of this because all the things we're trying to do when we're eating well and exercising well, it's going to just kind of, stop those things from really being impactful for you. So if you're not checking yourself and filling up your cup and that self-care, that's really a big one that will take a toll. But the tools that you could build are like breath work exercises, journaling, meditation, prayer, nature walks, gratitude exercises, short stress resets. I know in the community and on our group calls, we love to do meditations and groundwork. It's just such a great way to help boost that and get us in a good headspace, especially if we had a hard week. But the goal isn't to remove all stress, right? You have to build resistance, regulate how your body responds to it, and learn how to embrace it, get through it the best that we can. But the problem women have is time pressures, guilt, overwhelm, unrealistic expectations. Again, that all or nothing mindset, lack of support, emotional barriers, low energy, and poor health. So here are two questions to think about. What habits could you change to improve your sleep and recovery? Think about your environment, what you do before bed, how even you wake up in the morning. Those routines really do matter. And how can you create moments of calm during your day? So here are some tips if you want to try them. You can aim for 7 to 9 hours of sleep, create a bedtime routine with no screens, take short midday breaks to stretch and deep breathly, schedule one rest day per week, try calming self-care practices like herbal tea, journaling, or gentle yoga. So as always, with all of these steps, find your low-hanging fruit. What is something that's really sabotaging yourself? Could be social media, it could be your phone. That's a big one, obviously. So how can we reconnect with your body and find that balance while adjusting those things that right now are causing problems? And lastly, step 5. This is how to live well, heal from within, and sustain your health. So how do we live well and heal from within? Like, what does that mean? It could mean something different to everyone, but for sure, the self-love aspect and prioritizing yourself could be foreign for women, especially moms, right? Because we put everyone else first before ourselves. And this journey kind of forces you to do that. If you're going to be successful and you're going to, break through this cycle, building your self-love is going to happen. And even if it starts at the smallest little bit, you're gonna watch that, and it's gonna be so powerful and rewarding. So Meagan, do you want to share a little bit about how you feel about this topic and what it's been for you?
Yeah, I mean, I connect very well with this topic. It is so important to heal from within. And you have to start small. So it starts with things like self-talk, right? So you want to build yourself up, not tear yourself down. Positive affirmations are like my absolute go-to. I also do it with my kids to like instill that little confidence and boost in them. And, you know, also I think a lot of women have to understand like we need to forgive ourselves. Like we carry around all this shame and blame and for various things in our life that chances are it had nothing to do with you. Like it was not your fault. And you have to forgive yourself for carrying it. You have to forgive yourself for like maybe you were the cause of something, but it's like allow yourself to feel, allow yourself to heal and take the time in doing so. Like so many people are walking around in this world with unresolved trauma and unresolved grief. Like we cannot escape it. And until you do that deep down internal work, you're just not going to project yourself well in this world. And the world needs more love. We need more compassion and we need more happiness. And if you feel good here, then it's going to radiate to everybody around you and they're going to just feel better and you're going to feel better and everything around you is going to have this bright aura because like you can't change like the events that happen in life, but you can change how you react to them. But if you're not okay in here, then it's not going to be a good reaction. And I recently read something too that, you know, everybody has trauma in their life. Like you're going to go through some type of trauma in your life. And the body actually uses 90% of its conscious energy to hold on to that grief and that trauma response and those memories. And everybody lives their life trying to run away from that stuff. And instead of running away from that part of yourself, like turn around and meet yourself where you're at. Acknowledge the pain. Allow yourself to feel it. And I 110% can guarantee that when you face those demons, it will transfer the power from whatever that is, and it will restore it back into your soul. And that is so important just as human beings because you deserve a good life. Like you are a good person and you have to believe that no matter what you've done in this world, like if the body can come back from like, you know, years of smoking cigarettes and doing all sorts of bad stuff to you, like then you can look yourself in the mirror and say, you know what? I am a good person and tomorrow's going to be a different day. And you can pivot and change your whole life whenever you want to.
I love that. Yeah, just as you could change and what's happening inside of you with food and exercise. I love that. Like it doesn't matter what you've been through. It doesn't matter who you were yesterday. You can make a choice to be different. It's you have a fresh start every single day. So what you got to ask.
And if you have people in your corner too that are not supportive of you and that, you know, I always feel like, you know, if you set a goal sometimes, you always have this like peanut gallery member that will sit there and look at you and say, why are you doing that? What, like, why? Like, why? And it's like, why does what I do matter to you? It shouldn't, it doesn't. At the end of the day, whatever they're reacting to is a reflection of their own insecurities. Surround yourself with positive people who lift you up. As soon as you start to take inventory on who's poisonous in your life and who's actually like nourishing your life just in the same way we do with food, again, life's going to get a lot better.
That's such a good connection. It's so true. You know, why it happens or, you know, what their story is and what they're going through is their own journey. But yeah, you have to put yourself first and prioritize you and recognize those things and make sure you're building a good environment. Yeah, the problem is we might have past trauma and wounds that we haven't healed. Relationship with food is obviously unhealthy. Identity tied to struggle, fear of change, emotional blocks, lack of self-worth or being insecure, all or nothing patterns, and not addressing the root causes, and just overall living in survival mode. So the journey forward begins embracing your story, but where you've been has paved the way for where you're destined to go. Your mind holds the key to the healing that your body's been waiting for. So the real shift doesn't start with the food or fitness, but with your thoughts, belief, and nervous system, right? I think After everything we went through, we see that now, that we must learn how stress and self-talk affects our body on a cellular level, why healing isn't just physical, it's energetic and emotional, the science of how your mind can ignite real change in hormones, digestion, and metabolism, and how to finally align your thoughts, body, and habits for lasting transformation. You don't need more willpower, you need a reset from the inside out and the tools to become your own solution, right, to the problem that you have. So to wrap this topic up, how do we get rid of dysfunction and find your true health? Well, first you have to identify the dysfunction and the imbalances. Learn how to listen to your body. Tap into you. You have to have the right approach and support. Like, what vessel are you going to start building around yourself to create your health blueprint? What does your path look like? How are you going to take those steps? And then you have to have the right environment to heal, sustain, and thrive. So again, once you know what that looks like, you don't go back. You're not going to choose the other path because you found it. You found the answer and you're becoming it. So when you have the roadmap to create sustainable health or a sustainably healthy lifestyle, you do not just break the cycle for yourself. Your family does. The ones you love around you are going to be influenced in a positive way. You're going to be able to help your children and break that generational trauma or dysfunction, right? Again, the dysfunction that we all started with. At some point, it's got to be broken. And now is the time. I truly believe everyone is watching this or on this call for a reason, just as Meagan and I connected, the way I'll get in, we'll talk about how we met when we do your testimony, but it was so special and you could just tell that everything happens for a reason. And you got to truly hone into that and know that this right here, this masterclass that you're watching is your sign to take a stand for yourself and to prioritize you. If you want to take a look at a few of our testimonies, we have Andrea, who lost 14 pounds just by making healthy swaps in her everyday food choices. So she was in the community and we would go back and forth with different food products that she was buying, and starting with the famous coffee and creamer. And it was eye-opening, very shocking to see all the ingredients she was starting her morning with. And little by little, we did that. We worked through that to find those healthy swaps that worked for her and that felt good. And just by focusing on that one thing, right? Like that low-hanging fruit that felt good for her, her body was able to start healing and adjust and move the needle towards seeing those results and feeling better day by day. She says, Krystal's amazing. She joined the program and never felt healthier. She's on key with her program, guiding me every step of the way. She's extremely knowledgeable and helps me build maintainable, healthy habits. She highly recommends the program. And then we have Karen. She at first thought she was just going to cleanse her pantry and her fridge, but truly cleansed her mind and her soul. She said, thank you for not making me an emotional eater anymore and for helping her make better choices. So she transformed into a self-loving, more mindful person and experienced life from a new perspective. So she did happen to lose 10 pounds in her first month of the step-by-step system, but she learned tangible actions that she will use for a lifetime. At first, she thought she was going to mainly work on her diet, detoxing, and making more home-cooked meals. She did do those things, but she intertwined her knowledge and self-care into her daily routine by walking her through the weeks of transforming. She's forever grateful for the program and me as her coach. So she said she highly recommends, and she is a perfect example of what it means to not just focus on the things you're putting in your body, but how you're feeding your soul. And Meg, we have the honor and the privilege of her speaking with us right now on her true health transformation. You know, even though it's been 90 days, she's not stopping here. She's going to continue. And yeah, just real quick, since I didn't get to say it in the beginning, Meg and I think it was destined for us to connect, even though we've been, she found me through social media. So we kind of been following each other without knowing it for years. Right. And then eventually she reached out because she saw one of my posts and she just felt something in her to be like, hey, let me give this a shot. And it's helped me so much more than she could even imagine, just by her being in my life and being in this community. And I'm just so happy that she's here. And again, I truly believe everything happens for a reason and the connections that we make. So I want you to believe that you are here for a reason as well. Even if you take the smallest thing from this and, start making healthier habits or do a complete 360 transformation and make this a life-changing thing, this is something that is here in front of you and an opportunity. So Meagan, I cannot wait to hear what you have to say about how it's been for you in the past 3 months, and also share with us where you're going from here.
Yes. Oh my God. Well, thank you for that beautiful introduction. I literally love you. So yeah, this whole process has been life changing. If I had to say like one hyphenated word, I would use that. Yeah, so after being gaslit by my physician, and trying all the wrong things, I started on the program, and we started small, right? We said, okay, let's just take a look at the pantry. And you had said, do you want to lose weight? And by that point, when I had started the program, I was like kind of feeling okay, because I was just I had kind of just given up on the ultimate dream. So I just thought, like, this is what midlife is, right? That's what they tell you. Like, you can't get down any lower than whatever you are, and your metabolism slows down, and all these problems start happening. So I was like, I don't know, like if I happen to lose weight, like I wouldn't say no, like, sure, sounds good. And so we started in the pantry, and the very first thing we did was we took a look at my protein powder. And I kid you not, when I switched my protein powder, my stomach went down instantly. And I don't really know which brand it was. My husband buys all the protein powder, but he's the athlete. But it was whey protein, and I switched to Truvani, their plant protein line. Yes, Food Babe, love, love, love her. And all clean ingredients. And literally, my stomach went completely down. That was not water weight. It was not fat. It was purely like inflammation and whatever reaction my body was having. So instantly I said, okay, like she's got me, like she's onto something. And, when somebody tells you like, oh, you need to start looking at the ingredients that you have in your pantry, like it's overwhelming. Like right now, like popular in the news is all about like the food dyes. So, like, okay, like stay away from like the red food dyes, stay away from this and that. But otherwise it's kind of like, well, if I can't pronounce it, maybe it shouldn't be in it. But you've done all this work for us. So it's like literally like, you're like, this is bad and this is bad and this is bad. And here's healthy alternatives. So you're like, don't eat that, eat this. Don't look for this, look for this. And it's just made the process so much easier. So then after a month, we decided, okay, like, we took a look, and I was like, you know what? I want to get more serious about this. And so we started in a calorie deficit, and I started counting the macros, and I started carb cycling. And literally within 3 months, I have lost 20 pounds. I look freaking fantastic, as everybody can see. And best of all, like all of my perimenopause symptoms went away. So that is truly, and that's what they say too. All like the new research, it's start with your diet, start with exercise, start with that stuff. And then I guess what they say is eventually I'll get to a point where I will need like hormone replacement. We'll see. But I think I treat this similar to like pregnancy. So like I was never the person that when I got pregnant, I wasn't like all of a sudden I'm going to start working out. No, I trained for that. So I made sure that I was physically fit before I got pregnant, and kind of approaching like this next stage of life the same way. And it's just like start now before it starts to like it gets to be too late. And this program, I mean, it's just been phenomenal because of the community, because of who you are. And like I said before, like you do all the work for us. So it's like, I feel like my life has changed in every aspect. Like I eat so clean right now. I'm working out like appropriately, like not killing myself. Like my soul feels so good. Like mentally, I am so good. Your app is fantastic. We go through like a habit tracker, and it's basically a checklist, which I personally need. So I just check it off like anything else, like typical moms do. And I can take inventory and make sure that I'm eating all of my meals. I have hydration goals. So I make sure that I'm drinking enough water, which you help with that too. I take my vitamins and I implement, we track sleep, of course. But I also implement a self-care act every single day. So I know no matter what went on that day, I set aside time to take care of myself. And it's just been so, so, so amazing. And I know that it is really scary to like reach out and ask somebody for help, but it's like you got to do your research on these people out there because there's so many people that want to just sell you their program and they truly just want to make a buck. And that is so not who you are. Like you are so authentic and you just want to help people. And that's exactly what you do. Like you help women be better versions of themselves. And it has every plan is different. It is not a one size fits all. So I'm over here counting my macros and doing all my stuff, like I've said time and time again. But if somebody just wants help, like cleaning out the pantry, you're like, okay, great. Like we'll do it. If somebody needs help with a meal plan, you're like, hey, you know what? I know some great meals. If they need help getting started with the fitness, like how do I strength train? Like you're like, hey, you know what? I've got a program for you. I can help you out with that. So it's really, really, really what you want to get out of it. And the best part about you as a coach is that your goals are their goals. Like not any of your personal agenda. It's all about the client. And I think that that's so important because in today's world, society loses track of that. And so maybe somebody just wants to go down one dress size and that's where they're happy. You're like, great, okay, I'm going to do that. If you want to lose 100 pounds and say, hey, you know what, this will make me happy. You're like, okay, great. Like I'm on board with that too. Like it's really in the hands of your client. And it's such a pleasure and so refreshing to be a part of all of this. And I can't wait to keep going because I have a killer photo shoot next year with like someone really major and I'm so excited about it. And we're just going to keep going. We're going to keep riding this wave. And that's the other thing too, is that even when like this part is over, like this is now permanently part of my life. You have taught every single client that I've seen come through this program sustainability. And that is the key because you only want to pay once. You only want to do this once. And that is the answer.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, Meagan, for all of that and sharing with us not only what's been going on, but where you're going. Like the photo shoot is so exciting. And I know, we kind of broke it down in phases for you. So we did the weight loss phase. We did the what we're getting into the building muscle phase. And then of course, no matter what, we want to know how to maintain once we get to that natural thriving place where we feel our best. But I love that, you share so much knowledge and experience already in 90 days and you hit your goal. And it's just been so amazing for me to see as a coach and to be with you throughout this and by your side. So thank you so much for everything and sharing this with other women so they know how impactful it is just to be in a space that gives you all the tools, but also allows you to be who you are. And it is 100% client focused on what you need. And we pull out the strengths, right? I pull out the best in you, the strengths that you have, and we really tailor it to what you're going to need to thrive and be the most successful. So thank you for allowing me to do that with you. And yeah, I love it. It's all good. I look at the photo and I'm so excited. One of my favorite parts is that the clients do check in. You weigh in once a week, but the measurements come in once a month. So really seeing your body go down in inches, right? Your waist, the dress size, that is so eye-opening. And tell me how that feels like when you do your measurements. And
initially it can be scary, right? Because you're like, oh my God, especially when you're starting. Like those first pictures, the first measurements, you're just like, oh my God, like this is my reality. But then that next month, you're like, ooh, like that's 4 weeks of weigh-ins. Like, and you're like, okay, we're doing big things. And then it gets easier and easier and easier. And like, I choose to send you my photos, but and nobody else sees them. Like it's completely confidential. But you don't have to do that. Like it's really like whatever you're most comfortable with. But like for me, I'm a visual person, so I know that I need to see it, and I do have a little touch of like body dysmorphia. So what I see in the mirror is not necessarily what I'm going to see in like a photo. So the photos help keep me on track. They help keep me motivated. And that's what makes me get up every day and start this journey and just continue and just keep going.
That so good. Yeah. You got to find those things that what your internal motivators are, but the external ones too. And always focus on that reason why, like why you're doing this, why you're here, what you want for yourself. And you have such, amazing skills when it comes to the accountability and holding yourself to that. And you're determined to be successful in this. And you are like, the person I know, the way you described yourself in the past, I'm like, I don't even know that girl, like who you are right now.
Thank you.
This is where your name could be. Obviously, it's an opportunity to find your own journey and sustainability with like-minded women and in a supportive environment so you could thrive. Imagine waking up with clarity and being calm in the chaos. You eat with ease, not fear. You feel strong, light, and at home in your body. That version of you exists. She's not a fantasy. She's waiting in you. A healthier, happier, confident version of you is waiting to be found. And again, losing a dress size, feeling more energetic, waking up knowing that today's another day of progress, and that consistency of that confidence and knowing where you're going versus being stuck and in pain and suffering and not knowing when you're going to get out of the cycle, right? Like of losing the weight and gaining it back and staying in that environment. So this is truly an opportunity for you to break free from that and to find your own path in your own way. And what most women are missing is that strategy and that environment. So you'll not only be able to fit into your clothes again and have the confidence and energy again, but you'll see the results faster on a path that's done for you and designed to last a lifetime. But once you live it, you'll never look back. When you're on the right path, the time it takes is inevitable. Getting to enjoy the journey is what matters because you're getting there every single day. You're closer and closer to that dream come true. So you must prioritize your health before you're forced to pay for your illness. So that question again, what is the cost of your inaction? If you don't do anything and if you don't find that path that's going to give you the health, the longevity, the vitality, the quality of life and lead towards health and prosperity, then what does that look like for you? Your health is your wealth. We must break through the old habits that got us here today. And remember, you are the magic pill. So you right now can start your journey to becoming the solution. I'm going to ask again, what does your true health mean to you? If you wrote it down, take a look at what you put. After seeing all this information and how we set this up, how does that look? Is it the same? Did anything shift? Do you feel differently about it? If you didn't write it down and you just thought about it, just check in with yourself, see how you're feeling now. And the last question is, are you ready to become the CEO of your health again? Write down one action you will commit to this week. At least start committing to yourself and write down that action step and take it. So this is the invitation to go deeper. Whoever is interested in exploring more, I have an opportunity for you. So this isn't for everyone, but it will be perfect for some. So in just 12 weeks, 90 days, you can experience a step-by-step path through your unique journey to health and confidence. It includes one-on-one coaching sessions, personalized nutrition, fitness, gut health, and hormone plans, tools, accountability, and a compassionate reset, 24/7 communication and community support with like-minded women, bi-weekly group sessions, over 100 holistic handouts and resources, and of course, supplement and blood panel support. I do have a special offer. There is a fast acting bonus. So if you're watching this right now, there might be a countdown below to show you when this will end. But if you do get your call booked, you will get 1 month access for free to the True Health community. So you will be in with the group. You will see the accountability. You will see the inspiration that comes from these women and the support that goes on behind the scenes. You will receive one of two things, or you'll receive both, but you could act on one or two things now. So you could do a pantry makeover or the True Health Gut Detox, which is amazing. You'll have a one-on-one session to talk about those things and get that kick started. But that access to the community is really what's very, very special with the women that are in there now. It's life-changing. It's going to impact everything that you do from here on out and take a stand for your health. So it says tonight only, and that there's 7 spots open, but depending on when you're watching this, that may change. Just make sure to look below to see what information is there and act on this bonus, because you will not regret being surrounded by these women and in this community where you could start thriving and start your true health journey. And in order to book the call, you will see a link somewhere, either in the email that you received or below. But there's 2 special gifts I will be sending you just for watching this or being here. I truly appreciate it, and it's my gift to you to enjoy. You do not have to do this alone, right? So if you're ready to reclaim your confidence and your health, we are here for you every step of the way. The community, me as your coach, having an expert in your corner so you can become your own expert. Just look for that link below, and there's my contact info. So if you do need to reach out or have any questions, feel free to communicate. And thank you so much for watching this.